Hey, I'm really excited to share with you today one of our top luxury tours in Europe and also one of my personal favorites. Our Croatia and Dalmatian coast tour is a 6-day, 5-night adventure, which will have you spoiled from the gorgeous coastlines and extravagant views to the amazing hotels that we stay in. This trip is for cyclists of all levels and abilities. Regardless of your cycling level, you will find that Trek Travel will help you find flatter roads for our less avid cyclists and challenging long climbs and extra miles for our more avid cyclists. This trip is for guests who love to experience food and wine that is local and exquisite. Please note, dietary restrictions are easily accommodated on this trip. And this trip is for guests who want to have a cycling experience of a lifetime. A quote from a former guest about the food on this trip: "The food was wonderful, and we were taken to places the average traveler would never have known about. The hosts at each place were great, and they explained everything they were serving and how the menus presented the finest of the Dalmatian coast has to offer." Our Croatia trip is a level 2-3 trip. And what this means, well, we average about 30 miles of cycling per day with about 3,000 feet of climbing. We offer many options each day for more miles or less miles. The terrain is rolling and the scenery, as you can imagine, is simply stunning as we cycle along the coastline. We recommend guests have a decent level of fitness with good bike handling skills. Croatia is still somewhat undiscovered, and because of that, there is very little traffic on the majority of the roads that we ride on. And as with our other trips, you have riding options for each day. For a guest looking to challenge their legs, we have longer options available. Just for example, day 2, you can ride just over 40 miles. And if you're ready for this, just over 4,000 feet of climbing. So it's a pretty good day. What's included on this trip? At Trek Travel, we definitely include more. As you can see here, hotel, guides, daily breakfast, 4 lunches, 4 dinners, 2 social hours, a world-class bike, equipped with the Garmin GPS, helmet, 3 route options, just to name a few. Here are a few things that we do not include. You'll be responsible for arrangements getting to and from the trip. Trek Travel is a proud partner with the travel service provider, and we can connect you if you'd like assistance with transportation. Also, some meals are not included. Trek Travel invites you to explore the local cuisine at your leisure for meals. Also, gratuities for your guides are not included as well, and we thank you in advance. I expect you have some questions about getting to and from your Croatia trip. First, let's talk logistics. This is the map of the trip. The dotted blue line represents the places in Croatia we take you. We meet you in Dubrovnik, and we travel up the coast towards Split throughout the week. We suggest you arrive at least one day before your trip start to adjust to the time zone. We recommend flying into the Dubrovnik airport and then flying out of Split. Hotel Bellevue in Dubrovnik is our first trip hotel where we will meet you on day 1 of the trip. On the last day of our trip, you will say farewell to your guides in Hvar before boarding a private ferry to transfer you to Split. In Split, we definitely recommend you spend a day or 2 to explore the city before traveling on to your next destination. Croatia's Dalmatian coast enjoys a warm Mediterranean climate. Expect an average daily temperatures to range from the 60s to the high 70s, with generally sunny days. But being on the Adriatic Sea, rain is always a possibility, so be prepared and bring layers. The evenings can be cool. Layers for dinners and evenings are also a must. Our first ride of the trip takes us through the Conavale Valley. This little-known valley is forested with cypress and pine trees, as well as vineyards, olive groves, and a variety of trees, including tangerine, fig, and mulberry. We meander through a protected nature preserve before stopping for lunch at Konavski Dori, a traditional restaurant with watermills dating back to the time of the Dubrovnik Republic. And this is a shot of the restaurant. After lunch, we shuttle you back to the hotel where you will have time to experience the beauty of the Adriatic Sea. Our hotel, which is shown here in this picture, sits 100 feet above Miramar Bay. And just below it, at the bottom of this picture, is a private beach for the hotel guests. Before we gather for dinner and drinks, we highly recommend and encourage you to go on down and have a swim in the sea. Afterwards, we'll gather for a social hour, followed by an amazing multi-meal course featuring fresh fruit from land and sea. On day 2, we say goodbye to Dubrovnik and we shuttle up the coast to begin our next ride on the Pelisach Peninsula. Known for wine, salt, fish, and oysters, the riding is breathtaking as we cycle through the towns of Stone, Trstenik, Omiš, and we make our way to the village of Vižanja for lunch. After lunch, we board our first of 3 private ferries. Today's private ferry is to the island of Korčula. Korčula is our home for the next 2 nights. It's the 6th largest island in the Adriatic Sea, and it's also known as the Emerald Island of the Adriatic Sea due to all of the trees. By the way, what is nice about a private ferry and why we're pointing it out? Well, there's no wait times, there's no crowds, and it's just you, our guests, with their other guests, and lots of beautiful views as we voyage on our time. So it's pretty sweet. Korčula town, as featured here in this picture, is a medieval Dalmatian village which was saved from total destruction by an English pilot during World War II. As the pilot came with bombing orders on the sea, he remarked that this stone rose was shining bright on the blue sea, and the beauty of it was so great that it moved him, and he called off the bombing run, disobeying orders from those above. So because of the pilot's heroics, we get to experience the stone rose ourselves of the Adriatic. Korčula is our home for the next 2 nights, and we will have ample time to explore this city. Our home here in Korčula is the Ležeč Dimitri Palace, a recently renovated 17th century bishop's palace, and one of the finest hotels, not only on the island of Korčula, but also where we take guests. This heritage building is comprised of 5 luxury apartments remodeled in the themes of Marco Polo's travels: Ceylon, Arabia, India, China, and Venice. And it is pretty darn awesome. I'll just say that. Tonight, we'll dine at the Michelin star restaurant, the Ležeč Dimitri restaurant, for a culinary experience that you will definitely remember. One of the afternoons of this trip, we explored the town of Korčula together and learned its secrets with our local guide. Did you know there was a law written that building floors had to be offset so you cannot look directly into your neighbor's windows? Or the city, if you can believe it, has built-in AC. And what that means? Well, you're going to have to go on the tour to learn. This aspect of Korčula, and also Korčula has been inhabited before the Greeks have arrived. There's so much rich history in Korčula, you're definitely in for a treat. On night 3, we head to Konobomaha, a family-owned restaurant that has been welcoming guests since 2005. You will meet the owners and their boys names are Ivan and Yaksha, and they both look like Roman Grek wrestlers, big guys, lots of loving, and they'll welcome you with a homemade aperitif. We begin our culinary journey with the sip of this aperitif. From the sip of our first drink to our last dessert, you are in for a culinary treat and adventure. Homemade pasta, unique flavors, and then followed by the amazing pekka, which you can see here in this photo. Pekka is a traditional dish of meat and vegetables slowly roasted under a cast iron bell with butter, white wine, and local seasonings. It's quite delicious. This is one of those meals that memories are made of. On day 4, after a lovely breakfast on the coast, we begin our ride across the island of Korčula. We board our second private ferry of the trip to the island of Hvar from Vela Luka. On our way to Hvar, we'll stop in a beautiful bay where you'll be able to enjoy a light picnic and of course, a swim in the sea. Once a Venetian capital, it now influences lives on a collection of Renaissance buildings, including the Citadel, where this photo is taken from. Also, you can see St. Stephen's Cathedral down below. Hvar is often considered the Saint-Tropez of the Adriatic. During the day, Hvar is an excellent place to sit back and enjoy a coffee watching the world go by from a cafe in the town square, which bustles with life. Hvar town is definitely a place to sit back and watch life go by. The main square, Pjaka, paved in marble and lined with outdoor bars and boutiques. You can also walk through the old town, heading up the hillside to discover architectural gems hidden in the narrow lanes and alleyways. Or you can head down to the beach. As always, it's your day. You decide what to do. Our last hotel of the trip is Hotel Adriana. Located right in the center of Hvar, it's a port-front property, as you can see here. It features a luxury spa oasis, a rooftop bar, and it's the perfect place for us to go and explore Hvar. Here's another photo of this gorgeous hotel with its incredible views. Here across the port, you can see one of the oldest theaters in Europe. Our day 5 ride is one that you will remember forever. We leave the town of Hvar for the countryside. The city gives way to forested terrain. Stunning vistas unfurl as the road twists and turns through the countryside. Eventually, we climb to the top of the island, where the vibrant sea will be shimmering on the coastline below. Stone walls will reveal a forgotten era. Perhaps you will keep riding, or you will do what I did here, stop and take a photo to remember the ride. Yes, that is my photo. As we make our way to the far side of the island, our next stop is Jelsa, a cool and chic bay known for great ice cream, quiet roads, and a nice mid-ride stop. After Jelsa, we weave our way to Stari Grad, which literally translates to Old Town. It's the original capital of Hvar until the Venetians declared the nearer Hvar town more convenient. For some of you, you may decide to have lunch here, while others will want to continue the loop back to the hotel for some last-minute shopping before we gather for our last night's dinner together. Whatever you decided to do, it'll be the perfect way for you to spend the day as you decide. Tonight, we'll have dinner and celebrate an amazing week of cycling together. On day 6, you have the choice in the morning to explore the coast on a guided kayak expedition. Alternatively, you can opt to sleep in and linger over breakfast and take in the views of the shoreline. As you say goodbye to your guides, goodbye to newfound friends, and goodbye to a Croatia cycling vacation of a lifetime, you will board your last private boat of the trip, and we will take you to the city of Split. And as much as I want to tell you so much more and show you all the pictures, well, you'll have to sign up for the trip to experience it for yourself. And I have a feeling you will agree with me. Croatia is simply special and you'll want to go back again. And now, back to you guys.